At Fløan farm near Steinvikholmen Castle in central Norway, a wooden church was built in the late Middle Ages. Swedish troops stole the shrine of Norway's patron saint Olav and fortified themselves at Steinvikholmen near the end of the 7 Years' War. When they fled in 1564, they removed all valuables from the shrine and buried Olav in Fløan Church. Saint Olav was exhumed and moved to Trondheim a few months later. The church ceased to be used as a church in 1589. Antiquarian Gerhard Schöning drew and described the building in the 1770s. By then, it was used as a barn. The building was in poor condition and, despite protests, was demolished in 1849. Some of the timber was reused in a new barn. This barn was demolished in 1909, but the timber from the church was preserved by interested parties. In February and May 2024, these 50 logs were digitally documented. So far, 19 of them have been processed into 3D models. Many wanted the church to be reconstructed, for example for the millennium commemoration of St. Olav's death in 1930. In 1922, the logs were moved to Sverresborg Trøndelag Folk Museum in Trondheim. In 1956, architect Erling Gjøne examined 5 of the logs and made a proposal for how the church might have looked. One of the logs could be placed in its original position based on Schöning's drawing. Now, 3D models of the remaining logs will have to be made before all of them can be analysed in detail. One of the goals is to identify where in the church the logs were located. Will we gather enough information to create a new proposal for what the church might have looked like? In addition, we aim to learn as much as possible about this forgotten church. Could there be details that have been overlooked until now? Gjøne discovered paint remnants that he believed were traces of a consecration cross. Further investigations allowed us to confirm this and find traces of 2 more on the same log. While there were no paint remnants left on these, incised marks made before they were painted were found. There is also some graffiti on the timber, including boats, horses, and personal marks. These have been thoroughly documented using RTI and then traced. Last but not least, 24 dendrochronological samples were taken from the logs. The National Laboratory for Dating at NTNU has analysed 16 of them. Most of the last preserved annual rings date from the late 1300s. However, one of the logs retained the outermost ring and could be dated precisely to 1406. We can now confidently say that the church was built this year or shortly thereafter.